For decades, India built its future on the wrong coast: Mumbai, Gujarat, the western ports facing the Arabian Sea, the Gulf, and Europe. That is where the factories went, where the money flowed, where India's trade met the world. Meanwhile, India's eastern coastline, 2,500 kilometers of it from Kolkata down to the southern tip, stayed underdeveloped. It faced Southeast Asia and China at a time when India's economy looked west. That is now completely reversed. The fastest-growing economies on Earth are in Asia, and the ports of the Bay of Bengal region now handle close to a third of global trade. So India is scrambling to build an entire industrial coastline, almost from scratch, to capture the trade it spent decades ignoring. The project is the East Coast Economic Corridor, India's attempt to build a second coastline. To understand this project, you have to understand a strange imbalance inside India's economy. The western coast developed first for a simple reason. It faced the trade routes that mattered for most of the 20th century: the Suez Canal, the Gulf oil states, and European markets. So, Mumbai became the financial capital, Gujarat became the manufacturing hub, and the biggest ports and densest infrastructure clustered on the Arabian seaside. The East Coast faced the other way, toward the Bay of Bengal and the South China Sea. For decades, that was the quiet direction. West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu stayed more agricultural, less industrialized, and poorer per capita than their western counterparts. Andhra Pradesh shows the gap clearly. It is home to around 50 million people, yet manufacturing contributes a share of its economy well below the national average. The export industries and the high-value jobs simply went elsewhere. Then the global economy shifted. East and Southeast Asia became the center of world manufacturing. China became the world's factory. Global supply chains reorganized around Asia. And suddenly, the coast facing that region, India's neglected eastern shore, became the most strategically valuable real estate the country had. India had almost no infrastructure there to take advantage of it. The East Coast Economic Corridor is designed to fix that in one enormous push. It stretches 2,500 kilometers along the entire Bay of Bengal coastline, from Kolkata in West Bengal to the southern tip of Tamil Nadu. For scale, that is roughly the distance from London to Moscow. It is India's first coastal economic corridor, developed with the Asian Development Bank as the lead financial partner. The first and most advanced section is the Visakhapatnam to Chennai Industrial Corridor, 800 kilometers along the Andhra Pradesh coast. This section plans multiple industrial nodes, including manufacturing hubs at Visakhapatnam, Kakinada, and Kaparthi, each designed as a self-contained ecosystem with power, water, roads, and plug-and-play facilities for factories. The logic of an industrial corridor is simple but powerful. Instead of scattering factories randomly across a state, you build a linear development belt, a spine of infrastructure connecting ports, cities, and manufacturing zones, cutting logistics costs that have historically been among the highest of any major economy. Feeding into it is a planned freight-only railway, the East Coast Dedicated Freight Corridor, 1,115 kilometers from Kharagpur to Vijayawada. Its project report is complete and sitting with the Railway Board, ranked as the top priority of India's 3 proposed new freight corridors. But it has not yet received final government sanction. Remember that. It matters later. The corridor ties directly into India's 2 biggest national strategies: Make in India, the push to become a global manufacturing hub, and the Act East policy, the plan to deepen ties with Southeast Asia. This is the physical infrastructure that makes both possible, and the money is already choosing this coastline. When Google picked the site for its largest AI hub outside the United States, a $15 billion investment, it chose Visakhapatnam, right in the middle of this corridor. A coastal corridor is only as strong as the ports that feed it. Visakhapatnam is already one of India's largest, but the most dramatic piece of the plan sits at the very bottom of the Bay of Bengal. Picture the busiest shipping lane in Asia, the Strait of Malacca, the choke point that funnels the bulk of trade between Asia and the rest of the world. Today, most containers moving along that route sail straight past India to foreign hubs in Singapore, Colombo, and Port Klang. India loses the fees, the jobs, and the strategic control that come with handling that cargo. Now imagine India building a major port just 40 nautical miles from that lane to finally capture it. That port is Galathea Bay on Great Nicobar Island. Priced at 41,000 crore rupees, around $5 billion, and designed to eventually handle 16 million containers a year. It would give India its first real transshipment hub on the world's busiest maritime highway, and it just cleared its biggest hurdle. In early 2026, it secured clearance from the National Green Tribunal, and Galathea Bay was designated India's 13th major port. Together, these ports serve a purpose beyond commerce. For years, India watched China build or fund ports in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Myanmar, encircling it with what analysts called a string of pearls. A developed East Coast with strong ports and its own industrial base is India's answer. A way to reassert itself in waters that sit at its doorstep. The East Coast Corridor is not just an economic project. It is India turning to face the region where its future and its main rival now sit. But building a coastline is far harder than announcing one. Land acquisition across 4 coastal states, each with its own politics, is slow and contested. The industrial nodes need enormous upfront spending on power, water, and roads before a single factory arrives, and those factories are not guaranteed. India's past industrial parks have a mixed record. Some thrived, others sat half empty. Then there is coordination. The corridor spans West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, states run by different parties with different priorities and different levels of administrative capacity. Aligning all of them behind a single 2,500-kilometer vision is a governance challenge as large as the engineering one. The freight railway is the warning sign here. Its project report has been ready for years, yet the line is still waiting for sanction. And the East Coast has a physical vulnerability the West Coast largely escapes: cyclones. The Bay of Bengal is one of the most cyclone-prone bodies of water on Earth. Every year, powerful storms strike the exact coastline where India is now concentrating billions in ports, factories, and cities. Every structure has to be engineered to survive them. Success will not come from any single port or city. It depends on whether India can deliver all of it together, the ports, the railways, the nodes, and the power supply, over the 15 to 20 years this will take. For most of its modern history, India faced west, toward the Gulf, toward Europe, toward the trade routes of the past. The East Coast Economic Corridor is India deliberately turning east, toward the fastest-growing economies on Earth, toward the Bay of Bengal, where a third of global trade now flows, and where China has spent 2 decades expanding its reach. If it works, India gets 2 industrial coastlines instead of 1, and a permanent presence in the waters that matter most in this century. If it stalls, it joins the long list of corridors that look transformational on a map and moved slowly on the ground. India spent a century building on the wrong coast. Now it is racing to build the right one.